You tell the world.
Hi, I'm Johnny. This is Johnny Likes, the show where I talk about movies that I like. Today I'm going to talk about a much beloved monster movie from the 1980s. Today, Johnny likes An American Werewolf in London.
Did you hear that?
I heard that.
What was it?
Could be a lot of things.
Yeah?
An American Werewolf in London was released in 1981. It stars David Naughton, Griffin Dunne, and Jenny Agnutter. It was written and directed by John Landis. So David and Jack, played by Naughton and Dunne, are two young American backpackers. They're in England. They find themselves in a locals pub on a small town, the rural side.
Hello.
And they sense they're not welcome, so they leave, and they of course get attacked by a werewolf. This results in David getting bitten, Jack getting killed, and the werewolf itself getting killed and conveniently turning back into human form. After this, David is recovering in the hospital, and he's getting visions of Jack, who is in his corpse form. He's all messed up, and he's slowly rotting. It's pretty gross. David starts having dreams about hunting on all fours and killing people. All the while, he's falling in love with Alex, his nurse. Jack is trying to get him to get dead so that he can move on to the other world, and he's convinced that he's cursed, and werewolf shenanigans go on from here. So this film is a showcase for special effects, pure and simple. Rick Baker was the man responsible for all the werewolf and corpse stuff, and he received the first ever Academy Award for Best Makeup. They basically made the category for this movie. And for the last couple of years, when special effects had just really started becoming prominent in cinema. And they've been prominent for a long time, but the film world kind of decided that now was the time to start recognizing the achievements that all these people have done over the years. And it's well earned. The transformation scene in this film is still the gold standard for werewolf transformation scenes. It was the first one, as far as I'm aware, to portray the transformation from man into wolf as one that is painful and agonizing, and it shows on screen. After all, like, your body morphing into a different shape would be pretty agonizing, one would think. Not only is it done extremely well, it's in a well-lit room. You can see every painful detail. It's very show-offy, but it has every right to be. It's a standout scene in the movie, and any werewolf movie, they always look back to this one. Like I said, it's the gold standard. Apart from the werewolf stuff, seeing Jack slowly decompose is delightfully gory and gross and slimy.
I'm going completely crazy.
David! What?
It's pretty magnificently done, and for the most part, it still holds up. There is one part where you see him at an intermediate stage, and doesn't quite get there. Still pretty good, though, especially for the time. The added humor that Jack adds was also a nice touch. Horror comedies were nothing new at this point. They'd been around since basically the dawn of cinema, since like the 20s. But the darkness here and the level of gore were probably pretty new. The darkness of the humor and the level of gore still has an impact. And I can't imagine seeing this in 1981, what people must have thought. That's probably why people of my parents' generation, they often cite this film as a standout of the era. Special effects in a monster movie can make or break the film. The fact that they were so well done in this movie is definitely its saving grace. The story in this film is basically just Landis's take on the standard werewolf lore, And if the effects hadn't been as well done as they were, this movie would most likely have been largely forgotten, not very successful, and definitely wouldn't have had the impact that it did. It also wouldn't have any sort of lasting legacy. I've never been the biggest fan of this film as a whole. I always find that it loses me at points, especially the last 20 to 30 minutes, I would say. Once we've seen the transformation and we've gotten over seeing the dead friend on screen, it kind of just loses steam. It doesn't really have anywhere else to go. However, everything up to that point is fairly captivating. I found the romance to be just kind of padding for the most part. It never really clicked the way that it was supposed to for me. I also never really liked the look of the fully transformed werewolf at the end of the film. I didn't care for the design, and it was fairly well done, but it just never really worked for me. I would have liked something other than kind of the hellhound look that they went for. Despite the fact that I don't love this movie, I do still like it. And I think that it is a classic film. It should definitely be required viewing for anyone who considers themselves a horror fan. The special effects and makeup, they're just fantastic. And it will make you wonder how they did them. This was all in front of the camera here. No computer trickery here. And it really makes you wonder how they pulled some of these things off. Plus, it was 40 years ago, and they hold up surprisingly well. Overall, the film was just a little bit uneven for me. Despite that, I'm going to give this a 3.25 out of 5. If you like this, I would recommend The Howling. This is kind of this other big werewolf movie from that year. There was a couple within like a few years, but The Howling is kind of the standout. Rick Baker actually did work on that one a little bit, but he was behind the scenes stuff, and he ended up moving to work on American Werewolf in London and left his protege Rob Bottin in charge of the effects for the Howling. It's got a really nice atmosphere to it. I'll give it that one. Give it a shot. See what you think. Wolf. Jack Nicholson gets wolfy. This is my favorite werewolf film. Not everyone loves this movie, and I can understand why, but it is my favorite, and I think you should give it a shot if you want some good quality werewolf stuff. It hasn't aged spectacularly well, but I still like it. And last but not least, I would recommend Late Phases, which is a modern low-budget werewolf film. I've got to point that out. And there's not too much actual werewolf effects and stuff in it, but overall it's a really good movie. So, 3 other werewolf movies for you. What's your favorite werewolf movie? What's your favorite transformation scene? What's your favorite movie monster? Let me know in the comments. If you could do me a favor and like and subscribe. It's quick, free, and relatively painless. Plus, it really helps me out. So thanks for watching me rant about movies for a little bit. You can tune in next time and see what else Johnny likes.
Beware the moon, lads.
Yeah. What the hell was that all about?
I don't know. Let's go up the road and see if there's an inn or something.
You tell him, Johnny. You tell the world.